Earning money is hard. Saving money is even harder, which is why in this video, I'm going to give you 5 easy money hacks that you can use to make the most on the money you're already saving and save the most of the money that you're already spending. 1 and 2 you might already know, but I bet the next 3 will be a surprise, so stick around to find out. Number 1 is only investing in index funds. This sounds obvious, but there are 2 things that aren't obvious about it. Number 1 is that you have millions of people, tens of millions of people on Robinhood or other investment apps who think they're the next Bill Ackman or who think they're maybe the next, Reddit millionaire, and they think that they can outperform the experts who themselves can't even outperform the market, and they end up doing a little worse than the market, or God forbid, not making any money at all, but thinking there's some geniuses because they watch a lot of YouTube videos about how Tesla's new earnings results are going to be. But let me tell you something. You are not going to do better than the market. If you do, it will be purely out of luck. If you've done better than the market in the past, and you say you've done it for 3, 4, 5 years in a row, imagine this. If someone flips a coin and that coin lands on heads 5 times in a row, that doesn't mean they're a great coin flipper. All it means is that they got lucky. And so you should still, while you have a chance, take your winnings, learn when to quit, and put everything in an index fund. What does that mean? That means put it in something like the S&P 500, like the NASDAQ 100, like the Russell 2000. Put it in an index fund that has been proven to gain. And here's the second misconception about investing in index funds, that they return way better returns than people think. If you look at most finance videos on YouTube, you'll see people assuming an 8 or 9% return for index funds on average each year. But in the last 50 years, index funds have returned an average of closer to 11.5% each year. So people say, oh, you assume a 10% earnings rate. That's so absurd. Well, at the rate that the index funds have been acting in the last 50 years, that makes a lot of sense. And given that human beings, in my opinion, are only going to get more productive with the advent of AI, with all of these new technologies coming to the forefront and our economy changing for the better, I think it's only going to perform even better, right? You have companies doing more and more with fewer and fewer employees. I think in the long run, returns have a chance, and I'm not a financial advisor, but returns have a chance to be even better than they've been in the past, not worse. So number 1, invest in index funds. Don't try and outsmart the market. Money hack number 2, max out your retirement accounts. This can be the difference between you being able to retire in general and not. I'll give you an example. The IRA, the Roth IRA contribution limit per year right now is $7,000 if you're under 50 years old. If we take a starting balance of 0 and assume you start with your first job out of college at age 22, now if you invest $7,000 each year until age 65 and you get a 10% expected rate of return, which is 1.5% worse than the last 50 years if you put it all in index funds and forget about it, okay? Then you will end up with a $4.739 million retirement account when you hit 65. If you don't put that in a Roth IRA, then you are paying taxes that entire way through. I'll give you another example with a different type of retirement account. Take a 401k, for example, if your employer has a match. Not to mention, your employer match is free money right away. You've heard this regurgitated in a ton of finance videos, but that's because it's true and not enough people are taking advantage of it. So here's the math. If your annual salary, for example, in your first job out of college is $75,000 a year, then if you expect an average of a 5% raise each year, say you're 25 right now, so maybe this isn't even your first job, say you start at 25 and you want to retire at 65, if you assume, again, that 10% expected rate of return, which is 1.5% worse than the last 50 years, and the employer matches, say 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, then when you retire at 65, you will have a tax-free $718,000. And how much did you have to put in to get that? only 140K. Your employer put in 42K, so your employer accounted for almost a fourth of that, and you have $750,000 almost. Tax loopholes are there for everyone, and you should take advantage of it. So those are the table stakes. Those are the basic things that you should be doing to make the most of the money that you're already saving. But you might ask, what if I'm not saving money? Or what if I want to save more money and I want to learn how to maximize the amount that I'm saving on the money I'm already spending? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that brings us to hack number 3. Optimize your credit cards. And before you go at me and start saying, oh, well, Dave Ramsey tells me I can't get rich off of credit card points. Nobody became a millionaire off airline miles. That's true. However, it doesn't mean that it's not worth your time. Say, for example, you're in your first job out of college and you get a pretty good job and you're able to save $1,000 a month. That means you're saving $12,000 a year. You want to take one nice vacation with your friends. You want to stay at one nice hotel, go to Europe, right? That can cost you $5-6 grand right away. That's half a year's worth of savings. You don't want to do that. And Dave Ramsey will tell you, just don't take the trip. I'm telling you, take the trip. Just don't pay for it with cash. Pay for it with airline miles, with credit card points. It's really easy to do this. It used to be hard, but that's why in my day job, my co-founder and I, we built this app where you connect your existing credit and debit cards to it. We analyze your spending, compare your spending to the benefits of every credit card that's out there, and then we tell you which credit card to get in order to maximize your value. The app is called Pointwise. You can find it in the App Store today, and we can tell you exactly which credit cards will give you personally the most value for your situation and your goals, and you don't have to think about it whatsoever. It means a lot to me if you use the links that are in the app in order to actually get the card. We get a commission from that, and so that's how we support the company, and that's how we're able to keep it free, hopefully forever. But if you just listen to the advice, we're also gonna help you manage the cards. If you just listen to our advice, that's custom tailored toward you, the average person can save around $3,000 to $5,000 a year, or can earn around $3,000 to $5,000 a year just by using the right credit cards each year, opening a card or two each year, and spending at the right places. You'd be amazed at how much you can actually earn from taking advantage of credit cards. Even if it doesn't add to your savings, it can enable you to take those 5-star vacations, that business class flight that would just be way out of budget beforehand, and you don't have to cut into your savings at all to do it. Money hack number 4. You can buy off-brand things, sometimes that are even made from the same factory as the on-brand thing, for a fraction of the price. I'll give you just a couple examples. There's this awesome website called dupe.com where you can paste basically a link to any piece of furniture that you can find. Say you want the restoration hardware cloud couch that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, but is incredible and people love sitting on it, right? You can paste the link to the cloud couch into dupe.com and they'll find you dupes that are comparable in quality, sometimes from the exact same factory for a fraction of the price. But it's not just clothing. You can go to DHgate. I love getting clothes from DHgate. I love getting, athleisure pants from DHgate, for example, that look and feel just like Lululemon, but they cost like $20, $25. Why? Because you can buy it directly from the manufacturer and they just don't market it as a Lululemon pair of pants. Who knows if it's from the same factory, but I can't tell the difference. So you might as well, people say, oh, don't buy fake. This isn't fake. I mean, this is a flip. It's a side hustle. That's another thing we can get into another time. But people say, don't buy fakes. I understand if you're buying a luxury piece, right? But if you're not buying a luxury piece, if you're just looking for something to sit on in your living room that's comfortable, that'll last, if you're just looking for a pair of pants that is comfortable and stretchy and dries quickly with water, right? If you're just looking for a normal pair of athleisure pants, you don't need to go to Lululemon and spend $90. That's totally unnecessary and probably a waste of money. So don't do that. Go to DHgate, go to some of these other places, or I know you can go to Fabletics, and there are ways to try and wiggle out of their membership issue, but they also have great pricing. Or you can take advantage of T-Mobile Tuesdays, and they offer at least once a year, I think, a 50% deal on Reebok. My wife and I just took advantage of this, and we got a ton of stuff for just half off, right? If you just pay a little bit of attention, there are lots of ways that you can get name brand quality for off-the-shelf price. Last but not least, if you like eating out, you don't have to spend a ton of money. In fact, you can eat out for really, really cheap. So if you want to eat out at actual restaurants, there's this awesome app called Too Good To Go, where their whole thesis is they don't want restaurants to waste money on food that they can't get rid of at the end of the day. So what they do is they basically let you buy for $3.99, $5.99, $6.99 for some obscenely cheap price. They let you buy a mystery bag of a few things from the restaurant that usually adds up to basically a full meal. And if not, it's still so cheap. You can get 2 of them and you're paying $10 for a full meal. You can get a high quality meal from a healthy restaurant for basically $5. And all you have to do is check this app called Too Good To Go, and I know in New York City, they have lots of options, for example. I highly recommend it. Check it out. You'll be able to prevent food waste while also making sure that you can eat out and eat healthy for a fraction of the cost. If you don't care about actually eating out, that you just want to eat for cheap, lots of these meal kit plans have really, really cheap promotions. And so I know people who have gotten like a different one of these meal kit plans every month, basically for months on end, and they end up only paying, because of the promotions, like $5 a meal, or I'm sorry, like $5 a month or something for like several months straight, just because of these meal plans. And there are entire subreddits on meal plan churning or whatever it's called, right? So there are lots of ways that you can kind of hack your food to save more money there. So if you like this kind of video, then give me a like and a subscribe, please, to show me that you like it. And I'm happy to make more of these money hack videos. We can do more simple ones like the maxing out retirement account or index funds, or I can give you more off the beaten path savings ideas like Too Good To Go, Dupe.com, or Pointwise. But that'll be it for this video. Thanks again. Have a good one.